Well, hello, and welcome again to the 2012fad.com. My name is Charlie Bluehawk. I'll be your host for this evening. Last night we talked about a good American and what the definition of that really is. I mean, there are two definitions that I can think of. The first definition of a good American is someone who is a human being and will recognize the difference between right and wrong and will actually, of their own free will, do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And do the right thing no matter what. The second definition of a good American, it's our master's definition. A coward, a piece of meat, a dumb animal, a slave, piece of furniture. Something, someone, can't even say someone, something that is not worth caring about, and something that has not even the right to live. Less than cattle, actually. For myself, for me, I'll go with the first definition, at least for myself. And it's up to you to decide which definition you like for yourself. And it always gets back to the same thing. It's your decision. It's your choice. Even our masters cannot break the law of the universe. And that is the right of free will to choose who you will be. You see, if our masters break that law, and as far as I can tell, they have twice in the last year, it's 2011 now, they've broken their covenant with man twice, once in Wisconsin when they overturned the laws there, broke laws, and the second time when they attacked Japan after Japan had surrendered to the HARP weapon that had destroyed their nuclear reactors. They attacked again. So twice now our masters have broken the law, man's law, and when you break man's law, you break all laws. So if you break one law, if you invalidate one law, you invalidate all laws, which means they've invalidated Satan's laws. And it doesn't matter if you believe in Satan or not. It doesn't matter. Our masters do. So they've broken their covenant with their own God. And even, even the masters are afraid. Actually, the masters are afraid most of the time. So, you have free will. Our masters, I'm not even sure they have free will. They worship Satan. Their entire life revolves around black magic. It revolves around religion. That's why I try to sort of avoid religion, at least man's religion. Oh well. And so tonight, I thought we might chat about surviving radiation. And the very simple, very straightforward, very no-nonsense things you can do to survive radiation poisoning. And no, it's not a big medical procedure, and no massive artificial chemical infusions, and no horrifying and expensive treatments. None of that is necessary. None of it. What it does require is that you put faith in nature. You put faith in your mother, who is the earth. You put faith in the fact that our mother is here to look out for us. Again, doesn't require religious belief, okay? You can be anything you want. You can be a Jew, a Muslim. It's okay with me. You don't need any of that. Have faith, I guess, in the universe. We're here for a reason. Let's take a moment and think about it. We're on a planet where our people have lived for at least 2.5 billion years. You'd think in that time, 2.5 billion years, things would have evolved on the planet that were good for us. The foods that our mother, the earth, provided for us are all we need. We don't need anything artificial. We don't need anything chemically induced. We only need to eat what our mother makes for us, basically. So this is less a belief in religion and the more in believe in your mother. The earth has provided us everything we need to be happy and to be healthy. So the rule for food is, if your mother didn't make it, don't eat it. So, what I'm trying to say, and forgive me for, being pompous yet again, it means that don't eat anything that the earth did not give us, that did not evolve naturally. Okay? If the earth didn't make it, don't eat it, don't touch it. Again, this is why our masters are so frantic about creating all kinds of genetically modified foods, GMO, because they know that these crops are not only deadly to us, to our bodies, to our minds, but they know, our masters know, that when these GMO crops, genetically modified organisms, crossbreed with natural plants, they'll all fail. If you go on the web, look around, genetically modified crops, GMO, are failing all over the world. And as they fail, they're killing their natural cousins, the original plants that they were genetically modified from. They're crossbreeding with those plants and killing them too. Which means now is a really good time to get some organic seeds in and plant a little garden on your windowsill. Potatoes are great. Beans are wonderful. Carrots are nice. Anything. Heck, you should probably get some organic tobacco and grow that so you'll have something to trade. And tobacco is actually a wonderful insecticide. And what do our masters think of this, of all the genetically modified crops failing all over the world, all these GMOs? Actually, it's actually just GM, genetically modified, sorry. What do they think about that? Well, they think it's really neat. They're laughing all the time that the cattle are going to die. The cattle will die when they eat the genetically modified foods. The cattle will die when the genetically modified foods crossbreed with their natural cousins, and they all die. Basically, die is the operative word here, you and me. But for radiation poisoning, there are actually simple things you can do, and it all, again, comes down to food. Now, you may have heard or seen in the grocery store or the health food store things called spirulina or chlorella. Now, these are the simplest types of plants we know, or that we can see. They're single-cell organisms. They're little plants that live in water. Basically, they're algae. You can grow these in a glass bottle sitting on your kitchen table. You can grow these in the backyard in a child's wading pool. You can grow these in the garage in your best friend in the world, which is, of course, the black plastic trash bag. Spirulina, chlorella only require water, warmth, a little sunlight would be nice, and maybe some sugar. Maybe. Villagers in India, small villages out in the middle of nowhere, they can grow both spirulina and chlorella as cash crops. You're actually a farmer now. Again, go online. There are organizations all over the world that are teaching people how to grow spirulina and chlorella. Spirulina, by the way, is spelled S-P-I-R-U-A-L-I-N-A. Spirulina. Look up chlorella. C-H-L-O-R-E-L-L-A. Don't confuse that with, there's another word that's a deadly disease. I forget what it is. But anyway, look those up. There are international nonprofit organizations that are publishing manuals how you can grow spirulina and chlorella as a cash crop. You want to grow it to cure radiation sickness. It's very easy to do, little maintenance, very high protein. It's good for you. And what will happen is when you eat this, either in India they compress it down into cakes and mix it with honey. It's actually quite tasty, actually. When you eat this stuff, and this is the sciencey part, so bear with me. Radioactive particles have they're positively charged ions, if I remember correctly. And spirulina and chlorella have places in their structure that will absorb the positively charged ions. And when they absorb the radioactive particles in your body, they then pass out as waste material when you run to the toilet. That's it. No muss, no fuss, no poisons, no chemicals, no expensive petroleum-based medicines. Just you, a tank of green water, and a little sunlight. Here's a trick. If you don't have sunlight where you want to grow your spirulina or chlorella, get a small sheet of steel. That's it. Drill a couple holes in it. Put a couple of bolts, again, steel bolts, in that plate so they're nice and tight. Wrap a couple of pieces of copper wire around those two bolts, and then run the other ends of those wires either under the child's wading pool, or under the black plastic trash bag, or under the bottle that you're sitting on your kitchen table. Because here's the trick. Plants don't need sunlight to grow. Plants just need the energy of the sun exposed to them. And again, this is a sciencey thing, so I don't understand it, but it works. The plate of stainless steel will absorb energy. And when you pass that energy into the planter, the energy of the sun passes along through it and causes the plants to grow. This works for tomato plants, your bean plants, your potato plants. Piece of stainless steel, 2 holes in it. Put a nut and a bolt in each of those holes. Wrap the wire around each of them, one strand of wire around each. Put the other ends of that wire on another plate of metal, again with 2 bolts in it. Sorry, I missed that part the first time. And then put your growing child's wading pool, your glass jar of water, your black plastic trash bag. Now, if you're lucky enough to have soil someplace for your tomatoes or your potatoes, instead of having that second metal plate, just get those 2 metal bolts at the other end of the wire and stick them right into the ground, one at each end. What you want to do is you want to create a circuit. You want to circle. So it goes from the metal plate in the sun through both those bolts on either end of the metal plate. Each of them has a metal wire going into the soil, to the left and to the right. So in your mind's eye, think of it as a circle. The energy everything that is energy moves in a circle. You can grow plants in a closet at that point. So now what? Well, you've got the basics. You've got spirulina, you've got chlorella, you've added it to your diet on a daily basis. You, your family, make sure you give some to the cats and the dogs and the chickens and the pigs, whatever else you're living with that's alive. Next, miso soup. Now, unless you're living next to the ocean, which I personally don't recommend at this point in our existence, you'll have to depend on your local Japanese market for powdered miso. Now, yes, it's the same miso soup you order at your favorite Japanese restaurant. Again, miso will bind with the poisons, the radioactive particles, the positively charged ions of the radioactive particles will bind with the negative ions of the miso. And when you run to the toilet, it passes right out of you. Now, miso soup comes from seaweed. So again, unless you live right next to the ocean and you can harvest your own fresh seaweed, you're going to have to depend on your local Japanese market. So stock up on miso. Other things that you can grow at home, equally helpful, are coriander, parsley. This is stuff you can grow on your windowsill. And again, just add it to your diet every day. Just add it to anything you eat. If you're lucky enough to have a tree of lemons, have fresh lemon juice. Try drinking organic wines. Try adding organic apple cider vinegar to your diet. These are all basic things, but you're primarily looking at spirulina and chlorella, then miso, then coriander and parsley, then lemon juice, organic wines, organic apple cider vinegar. Now, if you got any money left after that, Also stock up on vitamin C and vitamin AD. Vitamin AD is actually fish oil. These are what we've chatted about before. These are the basic building blocks for your body's immune system. You really are what you eat. You really are. And you need to give your body everything that it needs to repair itself naturally. And no, you don't need drugs. No, you don't need medicines to be healthy. You just need clean air, clean water, and clean food. All those things that our masters want to take away from us. Those things that will make us fit and healthy all on our own. And we don't need the masters for any of it. Now, if you're really handy, and this takes some scientific-y, gadgety, hobbity, if you're a hobby kind of a person, if you can manage to increase the oxygen content in your home, and there are very simple devices that separate oxygen from water. You can look that up online. This gets tricky because when you separate oxygen out of water, the byproduct you get is hydrogen. Problem is, hydrogen in our atmosphere is kind of, well, it burns really fast and hot. This is kind of an iffy thing, so do a little research on this one on your own. I can't really recommend this unless you're very, very handy with tools and things. The other thing I can recommend, most definitely, but this is going to be very expensive, increase the magnetic field in your house. And you do this with small natural magnets. You want to have the negative side of the magnet facing up towards where you are. You can do this, you can test this with, buy yourself a compass. You'll immediately see when you put the compass near one side of the magnet, it's going to go north or south. You want south. Put it under the floor, the magnet, under the floor, under the mattress, but make certain there's at least a 6-inch gap between where your body is and where that magnet is, because you want at least 6 inches between you and the magnet, because magnetism is very strong, it's very powerful. Now there is a wonderful company online, I believe it's called Magnetico, magnetico.com, and they sell wonderful mattress pads. And these mattress pads are filled with magnets. And what you do is you buy one of these mattress pads, you stick it under the mattress on your bed, so that gives you 6 to 8 inches of separation. Make sure the negative side is up. I had a set of these and they were amazing. Like so much of my life, well, pretty much my entire life, I was forced to leave them behind when I fled New Zealand for the sake of my sanity. Well, actually, for the sake of my literal soul. But while I had these mattress pads, it was astonishing. It was really amazing how much magnetism plays in, the role magnetism plays in our lives, and we're not even aware of it. So you do all this stuff in that order. Then what? Where are you? You're okay. Just make certain that you, again, share this diet. The spirulina, the chlorella, primary, coriander, parsley. Try to get that into your diet. Grow your own. After that, organic juices, lemon juice, organic wines, organic apple cider vinegar. After that, vitamin C, vitamin AD. Vitamin AD is actually fish oil. After that, see if you can figure out how to increase your oxygen contact in your home without, blowing yourself up. It won't be that bad, but it's kind of surprising to see how hydrogen reacts in our environment. Remember the Hindenburg, for example. If you even know any history, look up the Hindenburg. That thing was a Zeppelin. It was allowed to float because the Germans at the time had figured out how to safely deal with hydrogen, and then somebody blew the thing up. So again, increasing the oxygen content in your home, that's an iffy one. Be really handy before you try that. But get some magnets. Make sure the negative side of the magnet's aimed at you. Make sure you're 6 inches away from it, whether you're sitting in front of the TV set, whether you're lying in bed, doesn't matter. 6 inches between you and the negatively facing side of the magnet will do wonders for you. Then, no more radiation poisoning. Eat healthy food, drink clean water, breathe fresh air. You'll be okay. And share this diet with your pets and your livestock. It's really, really, really simple. For all of us here at the 2012fad.com, this is Charlie Bluehawk, wishing you a really good day and reminding you to please keep that one good thought. The 2012 Fad is brought to you by Coffee and Blood, Love Letters Between the Dead, a series of 5 erotica horror novels about a fallen angel fighting his way back to regain his own soul, and how the CIA war against the human race, their black magic, captures and traps him in the body of a mind-controlled slave designed to hunt down and to kill their god, their Satan.